The Clone Wars displaced tens of millions, if not billions of sentient beings across the galaxy as their homeworlds were destroyed during the chaotic war. Once the Galactic Empire came into power, one of its first obstacles was figuring out exactly what to do with all the refugees in the galaxy, which was when they came up with a strict relocation policy, which saw the refugees being given permanent residence on planets that had the means to house them, regardless of whether or not the planets themselves wanted the refugees. One of these planets was Arkinia, a wealthy and habitable planet that was attacked by the Separatists during the war, causing its people to disdain all off-worlders, especially those who came from former Separatist worlds. When the refugee camps were set up on Arkinia, the local militia of the planet were tasked in handling all the day-to-day tasks in maintaining the camps, although they provided the necessary food and water to the camps. A few of the soldiers of the militia despised the fact that they were housing off-worlders on their planet, only straightening themselves up whenever an Imperial officer was nearby to ensure they did their duty. There was a lot of conflict between Imperial rule and Arkinia, as the leaders of the planet made it clear they had no desire to house the refugees, especially the Separatists. The Imperials would counter that the Separatists were no longer their foes and were instead citizens of the new unified Galactic Empire, and because of this, they were deserving of the same respect and compassion of every other being under Imperial rule, and that the planet of Arkinia was as much theirs as the people who originally lived there, for the Empire no longer considered planetary borders as it saw its territory in galactic terms, rather than planetary ones. A citizen of the Empire was a citizen of all the planets within its borders. The refugee camps themselves were overcrowded and chaotic, as it housed both Republic and former Separatist citizens, which of course caused a ton of infighting among the two groups, who still couldn't get over the war. Imperial propaganda was displayed around as well, to get the refugees patriotic of the new Galactic Empire, with a few holos even showcasing Darth Vader as a war hero and conqueror of chaos. The overall end goal of these camps was to house the refugees temporarily until they were able to permanently settle on Arkinia's open lands. At least that was what was supposed to happen, as the local militia had other plans. Whenever a group of refugees were called up for their turn to resettle on the planet, the local militia had them all board a massive mining transport. Once they got far enough into the wilderness, the local militia would then dump all the refugees from the transport and have them all fall to their deaths, killing thousands of them at a time and letting their bodies rot in a pit for the wild animals to feast on. This went on for quite a while, until the overseeing Imperial officer of Arkinia, Commander Terron, became suspicious of what was really happening. Understanding he would require additional troopers to secure his authority, Terron sent a request to Coruscant for said support, but he got denied as Darth Vader was overseeing Coruscant's military command at that time, who simply didn't care about anything in the Empire that didn't involve Jedi. Terron's next request was then aimed at an old colleague, a captain that commanded an Imperial cruiser within the sector, who eventually accepted after hearing him out. Once the cruiser arrived, the Imperials discovered the horror of what the local militia were doing, finding the mass graves of the refugees they believed were being relocated on open land. The Imperials quickly arrested all the soldiers of the local militia, sentencing its leaders to death shortly afterwards. Also, fun fact, the same Commander Terron came to discover Kakruk and the Jedi younglings he was protecting, the same ones from the video when Order 66 was issued inside a Jedi youngling school, posted a few weeks ago. Kakruk and his group were in the refugee camp of Arkinia, quickly escaping after they felt in the Force that danger was coming to all those that stayed, later realizing that said danger was referring to the local militia's execution of the refugees. Having served under Kakruk during the Clone Wars, Terron respected the Jedi Master and went against Imperial protocol to call him in, instead explaining to Kakruk how many of the officers who served with Jedi during the Clone Wars refused to believe that their order attempted to take over the Republic, and that they still believed in the good of the Jedi. Following that brief catch-up between the two, Terron promised to keep Kakruk and his younglings a secret, even offering to provide them supplies with his own money. Terron went on to do this for a few years, giving supplies to Kakruk and his group before finally disappearing. It's unknown what happened to him, but the Jedi assumed he either got assigned a different post or simply found a wife and moved on in his life, and that nonetheless, the Jedi should honor his aid and be ready to return his generosity to the galaxy when the time came when they were needed again. Thanks for watching this video. Help support the channel by becoming a member on our Patreon page, and be sure to subscribe for more videos like this one. And as always, may the Force be with you.